Shukhrat, it's great to see you here.
Hello.
You're based in Alicante, but can you tell me the roundabout route of how you've actually got to be in Alicante and the significance of it with your winemaking?
Okay, so I'm originally Uyghur, coming from Kazakhstan. 15 years ago, I moved to France and then to Spain. My roots is coming from when the Silk Way started, and I finished in Alicante. That in province of Alicante, it was finished the Silk Way. So we try to work on biodynamics. We try to concentrate on a minimization of human impact in viticulture, and we try to separate different grapes and make these grapes make a sense for the future generation with some philosophic explication of the soil.
And I know you've done a lot of wine studying. What made you choose the biodynamic route after gaining all this knowledge?
Yeah, this is only about interpretation of the soil. I made my education in France in the University of Angers in Loire. So maybe like French philosophy made me like more interested in soil and how soil and viticulture is real important in winemaking. Like for us, it's like 80% of viticulture and then only 20% of vinification. The success is coming from the soil, not from the vinification.
Okay, and in the range of wines you're showing here today, you've got great varieties that come from historically from Alicante, but you've got others as well. How are you choosing these varieties?
It's easy because you just need to learn some history about the zone. You need to see the names of grape variety that have some relationship with it. Then it's important to speak with the old viticulture. They give you a lot of information about local grapes, how to do it. It's nothing new, just follow the ancient methods and interpretation of all this information. It's important. You need to add a little bit of science knowledge, some literature, and maybe to fix your attention on other winemakers, little winemakers that producing biodynamics, natural, not natural, minimal impact wines. So it's not so complicated.
So give me an example of the knowledge you bring that sort of connects to the ancestral ways of making wine.
Yeah, the knowledge that I bring, maybe it's not something new, but it just make a methodology about how to do it. We start with biodynamics. We're not Talibans in some strict rules that biodynamics propose, but it's like if you want to arrive to some point, you need to start with some things. Then step by step, your interpretation is coming and you understand that in your field, you need to do this way. You need to listen people that working whole life on the field, and not only the literature, not only the theory. No? It's always the practice as well.
You're based in an area that is renowned now for drought, long periods of drought, and you dry farm anyway. So how do you manage water effectively to produce the wines?
Yeah, so we don't irrigate. We don't have irrigation. We don't have access to water. But we have a chance to be on the 600 meters of altitude. So we in Alicante, we have a lot of sun days, like more than 200. First of all, we need to concentrate our attention in grapes that don't need a lot of water. Secondly, we need to work in different practice of biodynamics when we treat our soil, as well as a different type of cutting of vineyards. It's important as well. You need to interpret it. You need a little bit of chance with the weather because sometimes we don't have good ripeness, and we need to observe the previous year and for the next year make some decision. It's important.
And over the last 3 years, for example, what have been the vintage variations that you would say?
2021, it was for us not so good.
Why was that?
It was really high in acidity, and the microflora and fauna, it was not so present on the vineyards. It was more humid, and in reality in our zone, so we need a lot of rain before. Even if we have a lot of sun, we need this rain before. If we not this rain before, so we don't have a good biosystem on the vineyard. So as well, it's important to know that we work in some way ancient method that even Arabs practiced before. For example, bancals. It's a kind of terraces that retain water on the roots. This is about agriculture. And normally people, they don't have access to water in our zone. So I'm not talking only about vineyards, like even like other peach culture or cherry culture that is secano. Secano from Spanish, it means like dry farming.
One of the things I noticed in your wines is there's a theme of structure, different types of structure.
Yeah.
It's kind of It's not just from the ground because you're using different types of maturing processes. Can you talk a little bit about how you decide what you're going to use?
Yeah, the important that is we minimal intervention wine, so we try to reduce impact of sulfates, but it's not our enemy, because a lot of people they like going on the right, on the left, like white or black. No, it's about interpretation of the year, and then the techniques. The human being, it's important, the techniques of human, how we treat grapes and wine in the during vinification process. For example, we try to obtain high acidity, low pH, and high alcohol degree in terms of conservation, good conservation. And then we're trying to obtain a lot of tannins, because good tannins, not bad tannins, in terms of preservation as well. That's why we make a lot of maceration in white grapes, and even with red grapes we try to have partial maceration because we need this charge of tannins. And then we try to have interpretation of different fields and find unique identity of each variety in different soil. So we try to make a study about soil, in which type of vinification will be better for this kind of grape, okay, in this condition. So as well, we try to vinificate red grapes with a whole bench. Sometimes white grapes we do from the same parcel, we try to divide, and we do direct press, then we do manual press in some kind of maceration, and we mix in the same grape in one tank. And then we work as well with a bottle, because we believe that wines with minimal impact have better evolution in bottle. So we need to go to good material, avoid direct light, avoid direct oxidation. During the vinification, we try to use CO2, because the oxidation sometimes it's the real enemy of freshness, and the high volatility is it's the first enemy in minimal impact wines. Okay? So this is more or less the idea.
Okay, well, look, it's been fantastic to speak to you and taste your wines. It's a really good selection.
Yeah, you're welcome, Jess.